seeing people say the most vile I think I needed that like stark contrast of being in Hawaii and really thinking about my life and going from peace for it to be so black and white for me. Like now I have to come home and I have to sit on this couch and I have to talk about all these things that like I don't want to talk about, just to like further a conversation, to then have more like, you know what I mean? Just like this.
Yeah, to invite more of what you're trying to get away from. And
if you think Tana and Brooke were about to throw hands behind the mic, plot twist, they're not. Shocker, right? Turns out the real villain isn't a co-host beef, it's the comment section, baby. Imagine trying to do a podcast while your entire feed is roasting your facial expressions, tone of voice, and the way you breathe. Brooke, in particular, has been catching strays left and right, and it's not even sniper season. So what did the girls do? They shut down the rumors with the grace of two chaotic queens sipping matcha in a hurricane. No drama between them, no secret hate fest. Just a lot of emotional bruises from strangers who think they're Simon Cowell on Instagram. If only they could cancel the comments like they're canceling canceled. Their friendship, despite what TikTok sleuths are saying, is intact. It's the digital dumpster fire that's killing the vibe. In fact, they both said if it were about personal beef, they would have gone full call her daddy and pulled the plug long ago.
I also think that it's, obviously I've always said you and I have undeniable chemistry and I'm so excited to showcase that in different ways, but I just like, yeah, this commitment and this world, the world that around canceled is just no longer for me, and I have to just like radically accept it. And I think that I'm realizing that strength for me is like putting my foot down and ending it, and like, yeah, I don't know.
Nope, this isn't a scandalous feud. It's death by 1,000 snarky replies. Moral of the story? The internet might ship drama, but the real tea is that Tana and Brooke are just trying to survive the circus. And for once, it's not the snakes in their circle. It's the audience hissing too loud. When your job feels like a prison sentence, there's only one move: jailbreak. And Tana Mongeau just busted out like she was doing 10 to life in podcast penitentiary. Originally, she and Brooke planned to finish out the year with their canceled contract.
No, I think that I was looking at the embodiment of strength being like seeing this contract through. And I came to the conclusion that like, I don't want to see this contract through. Mm-hmm. And and then I go online and I see all these edits of us like once just like so.
Dude, the one that the one.
Yeah, because it's like, it was that, and that is the truth.
Cute, right? But now, Tana said, let's wrap this early before I combust into an Instagram rant with a ring light. And honestly, who can blame her? Imagine waking up in paradise, Hawaii no less, blissed out on coconut water and not getting verbally annihilated online. Then you hop a plane back to LA to get dissected like it's AP bio because you didn't laugh hard enough at your bestie's joke. No thanks. It's giving. Self-care. It's giving. Reclaiming peace. It's giving. I'd rather be broken bliss than rich and ridiculed. Brooke, on the other hand, was still doing the math, carrying the emotional one. But even she agrees nothing is worth losing yourself to fulfill a commitment that no longer fits. So yes, they're breaking the contract. Not because they're quitters, but because staying would mean quitting themselves.
I've announced now that like, I don't think we're gonna keep going with it, at least for now. We've talked at least about taking like a big long break, if not ending it completely. I feel like both of us are very fatigued of it, kind of. I feel like both of us are in such different places than we were when we started, and it's just feels different now. It's not as fun for either of us anymore. At the very least, we'll probably take 6 months, a year off, and then maybe reassess.
This isn't an L, it's a legendary escape. Hollywood, take notes. Plot twist. Tana found inner peace in Hawaii, and suddenly the podcast couch felt like a haunted Victorian love seat. Can't relate? That's because you're not juggling a mental breakdown, influencer obligations, and TikTok critiques while trying to talk about Kendall Jenner's dating life. Being away gave her a rare taste of sanity. And when she looked back at Canceled, it wasn't a career highlight. It was the emotional equivalent of drinking battery acid through a paper straw. Returning to LA meant returning to anxiety, to noise, to why did she blink like that? Levels of nitpicking. So she chose the dramatic exit. And not just because it sounds iconic, which, let's face it, it does. She realized she was more at home in tropical silence than viral chaos. And when your island getaway starts making your main job look like psychological warfare, it's time to hit unsubscribe. Canceled became the toxic ex she couldn't ghost because there was a contract. But now, she's slipping out the back like a podcast Houdini. No press release, just a palm tree epiphany. Brooke and Tana thought if they opened up about ending the podcast, the internet would finally chill. Instead, the internet threw gasoline on the fire and asked for a part 2. Talk about emotional whiplash. When they first filmed that We're Ending This Soon episode, they thought it would be a healing moment, maybe even a digital group hug. Instead, people dissected every micro-expression, turned their vulnerability into memes, and doubled down on the they secretly hate each other theory. The result? Total emotional implosion. Tana described feeling panic just thinking about podcasting again. Not because of Brooke, not because of the format, but because the vibe had been fully poisoned. What was once a creative outlet now felt like stepping into a social media bear trap. Lesson learned? The internet doesn't want closure. It wants carnage. And unfortunately, being real on camera only made them more of a target. Turns out, being honest in influencer land is the riskiest move of all. Absolutely. Here's a full-blown savage, cheeky, dramatic take on each key point you outlined, with 300-word punch-packed paragraphs per topic. This is tailor-made for video narration, bold claims, jokes that slap, twists, and all the spice. Let's dive into each point like it's the last EP of a reality show reunion special. Let's get one thing straight. Sitting down with a mic, a bestie, and a chai latte to talk *tea for an hour? Dream job. Heaven. But when every single word gets thrown into the Hunger Games of online opinions, it stops being a vibe real quick. Tana and Brooke didn't sign up to be emotional piñatas for strangers with Wi-Fi and unwashed pillows. Every episode became a gladiator match against hot takes, hate comments, and TikTok sleuths decoding side eyes like it's a CIA operation. The podcast wasn't killing them, but the comment sections were. Suddenly, a one-liner turns into a scandal. A joke becomes a think piece. A sigh gets analyzed for deep emotional tension. They were over it, and fair enough. Because when you're getting hate for existing, not even the best glam team can fix that level of fatigue. So, no, they're not drama queens. They're human beings tired of being served medium rare by every forum from Twitter to Tumblr. Don't get it twisted. The issue was never the mic. It was the mob. Recording was therapy. The reactions? A trauma trigger in audio form? Tana Mongeau. Quitting a podcast isn't a scandal, it's a power move. Let the record show. This girl has survived more internet disasters than your grandma's Facebook password resets. But even Tana has her limit, and it's spelled emotional burnout. She doesn't want to pivot or refresh or slap on a pastel aesthetic and pretend things are fine. She wants out. And not because she's running, but because she's growing. Walking away isn't failure, it's resistance. Against fake friendships, forced content, and the idea that women have to stick it out until they collapse from being relatable. Tana believes there's no healthy way to duct tape this podcast back together. And she's right. Some things aren't meant to be saved. Some shows are better off ending on their own terms instead of becoming a sad TikTok clip with 12K likes and zero joy. She's choosing herself, for once, not the clickbait. And honestly, that's the real plot twist. Tana's been labeled everything from reckless to raw, but what she's doing now, that's bold, that's mature, that's unheard of. This isn't a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. Cancel your fake concern and grab your popcorn because Tana just ended the pod to start a healing arc. And that is how you rebrand with grace and fire. If Tana's the runaway bride of the podcast, Brooke's the one still holding the bouquet, whispering, "But what if we just took a break?" Real talk. She's not ready. Not really. This podcast was more than a project. It was her digital baby. But Brooke's not blind. She sees the cracks. The toxic fans, the endless pressure, the weird parasocial politics. She knows they're caught in a performance loop and staying in it would kill not just the show, but their real bond underneath it. Here's the thing. Brooke's always been the balanced one, the thinker, the one who tries to make it work. But even she admitted the podcast changed things, and not in the OMG we're closer than ever way. It was giving co-parenting a demon child they accidentally birthed on iTunes. At some point, they stopped being friends and started being co-workers with matching trauma. On another podcast, aka the confessional booth for emotionally unfiltered podcasters, Brooke spilled tea that burned working with your bestie. It changes things, like forever. You go from spontaneous chaos to sponsored segments. From laughing over late-night DoorDash to arguing about upload schedules and thumbnail expressions. It's no longer just vibes. It's a job. And when the job tanks, so does the joy. So no, they're not faking anything. They're preserving the last real thing they have, each other. It's giving, we're breaking up, but we still care. It's giving, we know this ship's sinking and we're choosing to swim instead of sink together. It's giving grown-ass women making grown-ass choices. And that, rare. And that's the tea. The closure, the mic drop, no scandal, no beef. Just two bad B** teaches, choosing peace over pressure and healing over hashtags. The pod? Officially retired. The friendship? Still hotter than your favorite influencer's close friend story. So pour one out, hit unsubscribe gently, and remember, quitting isn't weak, it's legendary. So see you in the next chaotic, unfiltered chapter.